Hello, myself Sunil Ramakrishna here. Basically, we are discussing one of the topic that is education that we are discussing on the topic that is future creation. Future creation. Basically, we are discussing going to discuss about India account, basically SBI account, Amazon account, and the after 2 days, basically the other will be account. Today, basically the topic basically which we are going to discuss. That Microsoft basically is going to add this condition in this basically data science and data analysis group basically are going to play the role. They are only going to do this task because everything basically is connecting to the mathematics. Everything is going to connect to mathematics. I will take one simple example. Mm, assume that basically potato basically price has increased, and how basically price has increased because set of professor group basically has calculated certain level of formulas. For example, demand and supply basically how it is getting increased, decreasing basically. Because whatever economists basically things basically are doing basically, sorry, the demand and supply basically is getting increased, decreased basically. That are basically done on the set of prefixed formulas, which are basically designed by set of professor group basically. Set of professor. So they have told that basically if you want to increase demand of potato basically, then this is the formula which is written: a plus b, c plus d. A means what basically? That is basically the one set of groups. B means what? Set of groups. C means what? Set of groups. So if you add these, do plus minus of the particular things basically, that basically is going to do what basically? That going to that is going to what basically? That is going to connect to demand of the potato. Same way, basically, the data science groups told that tells that basically, like this also basically we have defined lots of formulas, and that formula directly basically it's not connecting to the demand of potato, demand and supply. So one of the person told that is professor actually doing what basically? That is also a question. Basically. By teaching this whole thing basically, professor are doing what basically? They are creating what actually? That is also a question basically. 1% told that if one person basically is a mathematician basically, what is the limit of the mathematician basically? There might be some limit basically. There might be some limitation basically. So this is actually one topic just now basically which I discussed. So in this basically we are discussing what basically? We are discussing that one demand and supply formula basically is there. That formula is prepared by set of groups. So in this world basically assume that basically there are 1 crore formula which is prepared, that if you want to this, you have to do this. So that comes to what basically? Data science project. So somebody has created data science project. In that data science project basically he dumped each and every formulas basically. It can be in the any way basically. So assume that basically there are 1 crore formulas in this world which is created by professor group, scientist group, and they told that they basically are telling that basically this basically we have done the R&Ds. So you basically are not supposed to do the R&D. So for that basically lots of people basically gives the training also. B groups are there, ME groups are there. They basically gets the training basically. But here the demand supply is of commerce group basically. That is also thing basically. That is also thing basically. So how basically the commerce group, science group, both are basically working with in one topic only. That is demand of potato. But they are not able to do the integration that basically we are working on this both same topic here. So who is doing that basically integration? Both are basically working in same topic, demand of potato. Here the science group basically are also working in same topic, demand and potato. But here basically they are playing with numbers, and here basically they are playing with the real characters. For example, he told that basically, um, if you want to increase the demand and supply, these all are the list of things basically which you have to do. Science is telling that basically these all are the formulas basically you have to implement these all formulas. That formula is connecting to this directly. But how this integration happens, that is also question basically. That is basically the data science project, and that is the data analysis group basically. Here basically somebody has created one data science and data analysis, so that basically his work basically is supposed to be less basically. And mark my word, this is very dangerous thing. That is the data science and data analysis. This only basically, you can't basically become a science person. You are a commerce person basically. So you basically don't understand the arithmetic formulas, this, that, each and everything. But you can connect with them. The formulas basically which are defined, that is connecting to this demand and supply only. This demand and supply basically is connecting to that particular formula. That formula is connecting to that particular demand and supply. So how this is basically integrated? Yeah, basically that is also question. Na? Science are also group doing that task. Commerce groups are also basically doing the task. Here the arts groups are also there. This all are not question basically. Demand and supply basically is handled by science group and commerce group and arts group and other group basically. But there is no thing basically which is telling that basically all are doing one task. That is what basically. That is what. That is data science and data analytical. Data analytical comes like this. The formula which has given here, that is connecting to demand and supply of this potato. How basically this can be matched? One person told the data science, so yeah, few data basically are displayed. They basically told that this is the student basically, this is the mark basically they got, and this is the grade according to the data basically which is getting. Just display the graph basically and tell him basically pass or fail basically. That are all the simple formulas basically, which are basically the basic basic projects basically. But this project basically data science group basically are doing, or basically they are going to do, or what actually? Data science basically, why they created data science? There is basically one reason basically. If anything basically is getting created, so there might be some reason. Without reason, basically it doesn't create. But if you are creating anything, basically before that, basically you have to do lots of practice, 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 practice. So currently, basically the data science groups are doing practice, or basically they have started the original work basically which they are supposed to do, which is the data science group basically and data analysis who created the data analysis and data science, that are the professors group. So they have started doing the task of data analysis and data science task. So this basically connects to the professors to professors. Because in India, basically there are many professors who are connected with the Harvards and Oxfords. So one of the person to the in mathematics, India is good or Harvard is good or Oxford is good. Demand and supply basically that is connected with this all factors. That is not mathematics. But here the mathematics is this. So here basically how this is getting integrated, basically. How that is getting integrated, that is one system basically. And here the main system is one basically is there, and one basically is one design basically which is in universe, and that design basically contains crores of planet. A is one character which basically have crores of planet. So see the integration basically how it is connecting basically. So that basically is the characters data. Here basically the mathematics is of numbers data. So is this basically integrating something, or basically just essay basically? Nothing basically is essay basically. Data science and data analytical. These all are basically created for some specific task. And currently, basically, the phase of the data science and data analytics, which is ongoing, basically, that is basically the practice session, or basically it has implemented to the specific task, basically, they are going to implement. So, what is that task, basically, which they are going to implement? And currently, basically, this is it's a practice task. And in this practice, basically, how many people basically they have selected from data science and data analytics, and how they are tracking it, basically. So that's the dangerous thing basically. Why data science and data analytical created. So one of the person told the BTech group basically are good into mathematics. They can solve anything basically related to formula. And tech groups are good basically. But they are not good into the demand and supply. Because each people basically can't become the master of everything basically. He have to rely on some other people. So here the thing is how the data science is going to integrate, data analytical groups are going to do the integration of the commerce of demand and supply, and the demand and supply basically is happening from this formula. So one person basically asked the question: demand and supply basically is starting by is started by this demand and supply creating group, or basically it's some formulas basically which gets implementation, and according to the formula the demand and supply basically gets blushed into the market. That's also very dangerous thing. But one thing is confirmed basically, data science and data analytics is created for this specific stuff only. But here the question is that is basically the practice stuff is ongoing, or basically something basically has implemented. See the connection basically you see. The professors basically who are good into the mathematics, they can basically understand what actually I want to say. The people who basically are into the demand and supply, but else, that also basically practically they are doing everything. They basically can understand this. What is actually the formulas, up to what level it is connecting to the real characters. Books are created, few paragraphs are created. Paragraphs basically when you read that particular paragraph, it connects to this everything basically. One entire page basically you read, at that time basically it's connect to this. How basically this everything is happening here basically, because here the environment basically is connected with mathematics, but when you read everything, that is connecting to something else basically. So how this everything basically is changed, that is the topic. So here basically why data science came into the picture, data analytical. So there might be some requirement basically which have basically got by set of group basically, that is the software industry. Software industry told that basically we have to create some subject basically. In that subject basically they have used data science and data analytics. So here the question is what data is required by the set of groups, what they want. And if they want this, then basically why they have created data science and data analytics. In data analytical and data science, data analytical means what basically? Demand is of the apple basically is happening or not happening. If not happening, basically why not happening? Potato of demand and demand and supply of the potato is happening or not happening? Why it is not happening? The percentage basically the student basically got some percentage. He basically got some good percentage previously. Now basically he's not getting good percentage. So what is the reason basically? So these all are the data analytical group basically. In data science, the data is basically. But here the main stuff is this all basically you can't do in the project basically. These all things basically implements in the projects also. For example, if you are doing any student management system, there basically this whole things basically is not report. The report is there. In that basically report was not there. Reports was there. No, basically. But why basically they created this everything and separated the thing? There might be some reason. Otherwise, basically they will not do it. The people basically who has created data and data analytical, they have created it's a separate subject. Why they have done this? This is a small project of the student management system. Analytical done this, done that, done basically. Then they represented the graph that basically this person basically was that time basically he was working. That time basically he was doing this whole task. Then suddenly basically he removed that whole task and converted that task into some other task. Like this, due to some conflict, basically the mark basically got down. So this comes to what basically? This comes to representation of data analytical and data science. But here the main thing is this everything basically can be done in the simple project also. No, basically. But why basically they have given the data science and data analytics? So there might be some reason. So next video basically we are going to see that reason.